Hello everyone, it's me, Juan54, back into the video. Today, we're back, and we're going to be continuing off the FNAF marathon, or rather the month of FNAF. So yes, I know, I missed out both Monday and Tuesday, but I've been busy on the other projects that I got for FNAF. Trust me, I know it's not really an excuse. I should have at least, post something on those days, but I'm sorry. I'm not working on just one music video about FNAF. I'm working about shoot, I don't know. I can't exactly say for certain, but do know that yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get all these FNAF music videos out in just 1 month. I feel like at least I can get out at least 2 or 3 before, just screw it, just throughout the rest of the rest of the year. But anyways, we're back. We're gonna be continuing the retro video review. Let's go this.
Sorry, Scott Coffin. I'm tired of waiting for you. This time you'll have to keep up with me. Oh, never mind.
Womp womp womp. Womp womp, boy. You try to get the one up. Dun 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 dun. Yes. I miss this type of, this type of intro, man. Dun 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 dun.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, where instead of waiting for FNAF 4 to be released, this time we're getting out ahead of the game. Or at least that was the plan. Scott, I swear you are the biggest internet troll out there. Oh, it's being released October 31st. Okay, let me plan my entire schedule around that. Never mind, it's now in August. Okay, fine, let me rework everything. Lols, here's the full version now. You, Scott Coffin, are the reason I have an emotional dependence on Diet Coke. Today I'll be sipping that sweet, sweet Diet Coke in sweet, sweet victory. Because guess what? I win! Scott, in your rush to get the game out, to get out ahead of my theories and completely flim-flam the internet and shock everyone by releasing the game 3 months early, you missed a huge detail.
Really?
Maybe before releasing the game, you should have spent a bit more time researching, because this game, as you presented it, is impossible. Let me explain. Basically, it's all but confirmed at the...
Okay, so this isn't really more like hitting to the lore, so I wouldn't really blame people for skipping out this video. Heck, I was thinking about skipping this video, but it's funny to me that MatPat tried to diss him, trying to diss Scott Coffin, but then he himself was wrong. Obviously, this was not serious at all. Come on, I'm not saying that MatPat was actually beefing with Scott Coffin. I mean, let's be honest, guys. Come on. If there would have been articles saying that YouTuber MatPat is beefing with indie developer Scott Coffin. Headlines way back in the past. I'm pretty sure this is all fun. Come on. But dang, this is crazy. The whole MatPat and Scott Coffin rivalry is something to behold, man.
Point that in FNAF 4 you play as the victim of the bite of 87, and that this game is either his nightmare or what he's seeing in a coma as he recovers from his injuries. Let me run you through the evidence real quick so that we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
First,
coma.
in the months leading up to the release of the game, there were clues hidden in the source code for some of the teasers on Scott's website, with the numbers 8787 repeated over and over again. 2 numbers that anyone who hasn't been living under a rock will recognize as a key date in the franchise's lore.
Yeah.
Bite of 87. This is further supported by the text on the teaser images. All of the pictures released on the site basically ask the same question. Was it me? Which seems to refer to the actual attacker of the bite itself. But there was one more word we saw repeated throughout the teasers. Nightmare. Hidden over top of multiple teaser images was that exact word. That, combined with the Freddy Krueger-ish design of the animatronics, with teeth and claws everywhere, something far different from how we've seen these things designed in the past, seemed to indicate that this would be the way a child would imagine these creatures if he had had a traumatic experience with them. Making it seem like what we would be playing would be a dream. Couple that with some evidence from the trailer. The first words are, "What is it you think you see?" making us question the reality of the images in the game. But there was also something that everyone seemed to overlook about this trailer. The appearance of the number 4.
Really?
Scott doesn't do things randomly, as I'm sure
we're
all aware by now. And notice the movement of the 4 4, it starts off in a horizontal plane, like it was laying down on something, say a bed, but then wakes up to stand vertically before the trailer ends. Even that remnant red rectangle is meant to symbolize the bed. Everything seems to be letting us know that what we're seeing isn't really real, it's a dream, or better yet, a nightmare. Now, fast forward to the game's release, or I suppose casually meander to the game's release since it wasn't too long afterwards, and we see that this theory still holds. Flowers, an IV, and pills will occasionally show up next to your bed.
Yes.
Classical medical supplies that show us that this is a child in recovery. Foxy, who's hiding in a closet, will transform back to a plush toy if you hold the door closed on him long enough, making it seem like this was all a dream or hallucination. And of course, the biggest piece of evidence of all, the cutscene that ends night 5, which, if you don't want a spoiler, click here to skip. All of you skipped now? Good. Actually shows the bite of 87 take place in the mouth of the golden Fredbear. This is further supported by the quote-unquote boss of the game being that same golden Fredbear, where in the final nights, he's the one who ends up stalking you. All the other animatronics disappear. You're being haunted by the suit that bit you. So yeah, that's it. All the evidence points to the victim of 87 being our protagonist. The character we're playing as in FNAF 4. Good job, Scott. You finally put together a game with a coherent plot line. Except you didn't.
What?
Scott Cawthon, if all of us are right in our theory, then you, sir, are wrong. Just when it looked like you were making a game that actually adhered to its own lore, you also made a game that is completely impossible from a scientific perspective. Loyal theorists, it's time we give Scott's latest bag of tricks a little lesson in real-life science. While frontal lobe injuries aren't as uncommon as people think, actually they happen all the time in car accidents, playing football, falling down, etc., having your whole frontal lobe bitten off has a much more profound impact on mental and physical function.
Really?
You come with a whole slew of symptoms from motor skill impairment to nervous system issues, but the side effects we're most concerned with today would all be psychological. Removal of the frontal lobe significantly impacts the victim's ability to process certain types of stimuli, specifically fear stimuli. Let me give you some backstory.
Okay.
In the old 1940s and 50s, psychiatrists often thought the best way to cure problems with the brain were to cut pieces out. Feeling depressed? Well, let's slice that out. Overly aggressive? That chunk probably wasn't important. As such, there are extremely well-documented studies of patients without frontal lobes. And what's fascinating about them was what happened to their fear response. Patients without a frontal lobe become uninhibited because they no longer have a fear response. Way back in my Fallout episode, we looked in depth at the most famous accidental lobotomy in history, Phineas Gage.
Really?
Who literally had an iron rod shot straight through his head, completely destroying his left frontal lobe. One of the most striking differences between pre-pole Phineas and post-pole Phineas was his sense of inhibition. And by that I mean post-pole Phineas had none. He had no sense of caution, no sense of fear or self-consciousness. He was described to be impulsive to the point of being rude and vulgar in public. No fear, no anxiety, no social pressure anywhere. Going back to the game, one of the things Scott does a great job of throughout the FNAF franchise is putting you in the eyes of Mike or Jeremy or whoever. We feel invested in our protagonist because we are that character. But in this case, that's scientifically impossible, specifically because of the bite of 87. If the main character of this game truly is little Timmy Lost a Lobe, he wouldn't wander around a house clicking a flashlight on and off. Why would he? He doesn't care, because tragically, he no longer has the capacity to care.
Darn.
His brain structure no longer allows it. As if this weren't enough, a frontal lobe injury also tampers with concentration and attention span. The main character in the game is still supposed to be concentrated over a long period of multiple hours. But the thing is, patients without frontal lobes don't have this ability. In fact, they can only stay focused on what they see immediately happening in front of them. A child missing a frontal lobe who repeatedly turned a flashlight on and off in a hallway without seeing anything would lose interest. They wouldn't have the mental wiring necessary
just go to bed.
Concentrate on self-preservation. They would literally just go back to bed. The game is impossible the way it's being presented, because it would literally be over before it began. But the final and biggest nail in the coffin for this one is how frontal lobe injuries affect the imagination.
Okay.
The frontal lobe controls a ton of mental processing abilities, including dreams. You might think that an uncontrollable imagination would lead to exactly the kind of nightmares or hallucinations you see in this game.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the exact opposite.
What?
Rigorous studies have been done on the imaginations and dream states of lobotomized patients. While patients without a frontal lobe can have dreams, one thing they can't have is nightmares. Patients missing a frontal lobe carry their lack of fear and inhibition straight into their dreams. And why not? It makes sense. If the mind isn't registering fear consciously, there's no reason to process it subconsciously in a dream. Studies show that lobotomized patients can dream about idyllic scenarios, money, fame, praise.
Money.
They can't dream about the monsters under the bed, or in this case, the Foxy in the closet, making the nightmare state of FNAF 4 impossible for the victim of the bite of 87. In fact, going back to the dark days of psychiatry, some patients who experience the kind of recurring nightmare we see in FNAF 4 actually have their
Mellow's
frontal
going crazy.
lobes intentionally removed to stop these dreams from happening. One famous case describes a patient who was experiencing a recurring dream of being chased by ferocious animals. After the patient received the lobotomy in 1953, yes, he still had the dream, but would instead describe it as being a nice dream with some nice animals. His visions in the dream were no longer threatening. The animals were happy, he was happy, and he was no longer able to perceive any of the fear he once had prior to the surgery. So scientifically speaking, there is no single way the main character of FNAF 4 can be the bite of 87 victim, like Scott seems to have indicated. Sure, the game could be about another kid, I guess, but that would be lame. No, this game is meant to be about the victim of the bite of 87. The poor kid who wasn't just attacked at the restaurant, but continues to be tortured through nightmarish visions, dreams, coma-induced hallucinations, whatever. I have zero doubt that that's what Scott intended, but the fact of the matter is, he just didn't do enough homework. A kid with those sorts of injuries wouldn't care about those things in the first place. He would have no fear, and there would be no animatronics, real or imaginary, that would be able to keep him up at night. Biologically speaking, nothing he would be experiencing would be any scarier than the fan.
The fan.
Sorry,
always
Scott.
coming back.
Better luck in the movie. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks
Oh, dang.
for watching. So that's the science of FNAF 4.
Alright, here we go. Oh, man. This is interesting to say the least. I know I wasn't talking as much. I apologize for that greatly. But it's just like, I didn't want to stop it so much because, like, I do have a little bit of a tangent. Yes, I know it was in the past, but it just, it does now irk me that now we know that FNAF 4 definitely is many things. For one, yes, the crying child did die. And yes, they're nightmares, but at the same time that the protagonist is just, like, I think we're, let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys, are we guys settled with the whole, you know, Mike is the protagonist in the actual FNAF 4 games, and in the mini games we're playing as the crying child? Because I'm still technically thinking that in FNAF 4 we kind of technically play as two people. We play as the crying child in the mini games, but we're playing as Michael Afton in, in the, you know, in the actual FNAF 4 gameplay. Because now we know that technically the nightmares, heck, they don't have to even happen in night. We can literally just let's just borrow some of these, let's just borrow these red smoke from Poppy Playtime and just help William Afton give his kids some nightmares. Yeah, that would be cool. Or heck, some illusion discs. Remember those? Oh yeah, I remember those. Those sound illusion discs to make those white flubs into actual nightmares. Let's just make them stroll around and, you know, there it is. Whew. Honestly, man, I really do want to play FNAF 4, to be honest. I really do, to be honest. Heck, I'll even probably play it as well. Maybe something to do in FNAF. Maybe something we can do at October. I can't speak for nothing, dang. But yeah, because let's be honest, FNAF 4 is basically where everything changed from there. Because like in FNAF 1, 2, and 3, yeah, easy solve. Scott Coppin was so impressed. But FNAF 4? Shoo, we're still talking about the box to this day. But anyways, guys, that's going to be the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like the video so I know you guys enjoy. Comment down below what you guys think about this retro review. We're still trying to do the retro reviews until we reach the point where I basically review all of the FNAF theories that I hadn't done in the past. So basically up to my first ever FNAF reaction video from MatPat. That's where we stop. But also leave down in the comment section, like, what do you want me to react to next? Come on, this is FNAF. This is the FNAF month, okay? I will take anything. All right, you guys want me to react to Walton Files? I got you. We'll watch Walton Files. You want me to react to any fan animation that's FNAF related? I got you. We're going to watch that too. All right, come on. Give me something to watch, people. All right? I know y'all smart. And subscribe. We're trying to upload daily. This is 1Gamer54 signing off.